Greetings to everyone on my channel. Sit back. Now you will listen to another incredible story about the relationship of a married couple and the incredible exposure of his wife. I will ask you to subscribe to my channel and like it. It's not difficult for you, but it's nice for me. I returned from work in a good mood. It was a warm July evening, and this year's summer was gorgeous. My 252 horsepower engine rustled softly with 6 cylinders. The climate control maintained a comfortable temperature. Some kind of blues caressed the ear with soft basses. I was thinking about how I would come home now, open a bottle of wine, cut cheese, and maybe go for a walk along the embankment, look at beautiful girls, and maybe even get to meet someone. At the age of 45, I had been divorced from my wife for a year and my body demanded female affection. However, this is a permanent condition. Suddenly, horns sounded ahead and cars began to slow down. I looked further and saw a bride jumping on the side of the road, waving a bouquet. A real bride, in a white dress with a crinoline, white shoes, and a veil attached to a small tiara. The tiara was stuck in a beautiful hairstyle of long brown hair. Her breasts, tightly tightened and raised by a corset, the size of the second, did not jump synchronously in the bodice. A large friend was fussing nearby in a 2-layer tight red dress that revealed shoulders and a gorgeous bust of size 4. The dress was very short at the bottom, but another wide, black, long, and transparent skirt hung from the waist with a second layer, which made the dress not so revealing, but at the same time did not hide anything. In her hands, her friend was holding a bottle of champagne and a half-empty glass. Everyone drove by and just honked and waved their hands in response, slowing down for a moment. I glanced in the mirror. No one seemed to be bumping into the bumper from behind, and stopped near them. There was a creepy song coming from the restaurant in the background about someone else's wedding and that you're married now. The bride, without saying a word, immediately tried to climb into the passenger seat, but got tangled in a long crinoline skirt, and a friend in red, who looked like an Armenian or some kind of Oriental beauty, helped push the skirts into the salon and close the door. Then she plopped into the back seat, the bottle clinking. "Come on, click, dear," she said, laughing. In a hoarse, deep voice, "We stole the bride here." And I pressed. The powerful engine allowed us to quickly join the flow. "I'm sorry that we burst in on you like that. You will take us somewhere here, and as soon as they collect the ransom, they will call us and take us back." The bride laughed loudly. She looked to be in her 20s, laughing, with a turned-up nose. "Fatima, did you take the phone? The kidnapper?" "I think I took it, but it's not accurate." And they laughed again. "Will you have some champagne?" she asked me. "Well, Fatima, you'll say the same. He's driving." The bride continued to have fun. "When has that ever stopped a real man?" Fatima rumbled in her deep voice. "By the way, my name is Nastia, and yours?" The bride made eyes. "And I'm Andre," I said, turning into the yard of an abandoned factory and parking in the far corner. "Oh, great place." Nastia was delighted. "Here we will kill you," she boomed, changing her voice and curling her fingers, imitating the movements of a zombie. "HRRR. Ha ha ha. Fatima, give me another splash." And Fatima was messing around in the back, trying to get between the seats closer to us, for which she had to pick up an already short dress. Finally, her bust almost rested on my elbow. She looked about 28 to 30 years old. Beautiful brown, almond-shaped eyes with thick, long eyelashes looked at me. "And me, Fatima. Let's drink to strong love." Nastia took a graceful sip from her glass, and Fatima had to lean back to take a sip from the bottle. And for a few seconds I saw the elastic bands of black stockings on her large hips and the edge of black lace panties with black hairs escaping. "MMM. Hot stuff," I thought. "Well, what is it? Any messages?" Nastia asked. "No way. Maybe they haven't noticed that we're not here yet. Don't worry about it. Look, we have almost a full bottle and, wow, what a man. What are you doing?" Fatima laughed and made movements of her national dance with her hands, waving her breasts. "Oh, and we have guests." Nastia waved her glass out the window and noticed. There was another car parked about 10 meters away from us. A respectable man of about 50 years old was driving, and next to him was a girl with pigtails of about 18 years old. It has already dawned on me why lovers, and not so couples, have chosen this place. The rubber band's lying here, and they're left no doubt. What are they doing here? Nastia asked, and I tried to distract them from someone else's car. Well, maybe it's Daddy who decided to talk privately with his daughter about her behavior. Or the head of a not very rich company is interviewing for the role of secretary. Or the teacher takes a belated credit from a student. The girls picked up and laughed at the double meaning of the phrase. Damn it, why did they take so long? Well, are there any messages? We're detaining a man. Are you married? Nastia asked without transition. Between the phrases we are on you and we are married, one step. So for you, I'm completely free. Parodying Boyarsky's voice, I said, rejoicing at least at such a harmless fuss in my life. It's boring alone, but here is a beautiful bride and an oriental princess. I tried to remember the last time I was at a wedding. I didn't remember, and the girls looked at me with some interest. That's our man. After all, you can see a good man a mile away, as Omar Khayyam said. Fatima said, and the girls burst out laughing. Oh, Nastia suddenly stopped short, making round eyes. And what are they doing there? In the next car, the man leaned back in his chair, and the young head of his companion made movements up and down in the area of his organ. She's what? To him? Well, you're just like you were married for the first time. Fatima laughed. You already have a ring on your finger. Have you never been to yours? Well, of course it was, but firstly, it was uncomfortable in the car. She looked around the salon with her eyes, and secondly, he's probably over 50. Well, first of all, what does age have to do with it? Fatima retorted, and secondly, here sits a man twice as old as both of us, and wouldn't you be able to help him? Poor Nastia fell into a stupor and stared at me with round eyes, and I suddenly vividly imagined how her head was also moving on my organ and I was holding her by the veil. My friend in trousers reported full combat readiness and cheerfully stuck out his fly. Probably. I could. Lowering her eyes to the bump in my jeans, Nastia answered in a whisper for some reason and blushed, biting her lip. Hey, my friend, have you never seen a grown man satisfy a young girl? Fatima tried to calm Nastia down, but only fanned the fire burning in her. No, I'm only with my peers. Nastia confessed. And you've never been in love with a teacher? Or a physical education teacher? Or the doctor who treated you? Fatima was surprised. Well, I liked him. My stepfather. And I slept with him. She looked at our stunned faces. Is this Sergei Petrovich or something? Fatima was surprised. That old bastard. He's not a jerk. Nastia defended her stepfather, and we laughed together. And this girl blushes at the sight of a satisfying couple. Look at her. Fatima commented through tears. To hell with it. Today is my day. I do what I want. Fatima, pour it. Nastia paraphrased the words of the Bamak from the white sun of the desert. Why, okay, my girl. May our whole life be a holiday for us. As if by chance, Fatima touched me with her breasts, and she squints at my fly. And for real men. She winked at me and took another sip of the bottle, leaning back again and showing off her fishnet panties. That's it. Fatima and I exhaled almost in unison, looking closer, and Nastia, in order to get a better look, moved closer to my window and leaned her hands on my knee. Looking wide-eyed at such a show, it was obvious from the girl's face that she was in pain, but she endured, biting her lip and wrinkling her nose. The pigtails twitched with every jolt, almost touching the hood. Nastia's hand suddenly accidentally slipped off my leg and touched my standing organ through the thin fabric of my jeans. She shrank back to her seat in fright, looking at me with doubt and indecision. A man's wheeze and a soft girlish moan sounded outside the window. The girl wiped between her legs with a napkin and, pulling on her panties and straightening her skirt, waved at us. That was the last straw. It's now or never, I thought, and, unbuttoning the zipper, took out my long-awaited shiny head. There was silence in the car, broken only by the snuffling of the girls. I took Nastia's hand and pulled her towards me. She still made an attempt to pull her hand away, but somehow uncertainly. Finally, I put her hand on my organ and made a movement with her palm up and down. Nastia, without taking her eyes off it, looked at it, and a light, dreamy smile played on her lips. Nastia, Fatima timidly began to say something, but Nastia interrupted her. Yes, and figs with him. He's probably satisfying his ex-Alia somewhere again. How much time has passed, and we still haven't been missed. In any case, he'll get so drunk tonight that I won't see my wedding night, she said, slowly running her warm palm over my organ. And I lowered my right hand back, between the seats, and felt the inside of Fatima's thigh and the area of the elastic band of her stockings, feeling her heat. And let's go inside, girls, I said, pointing to the entrance in the corner. It's not a Sheraton either, but still. We walked through an abandoned lobby, stepping over garbage, then through some kind of hall with a large ancient control panel, and came across a photographer with the bride and groom. Oh, are you having a photo shoot too? The photographer asked. Yes, we should. Entourage with a sofa. Can you tell me one? I asked. We're here for the bride. That one. Stolen. Out of breath, Fatima screamed for some reason. They looked at us suspiciously, at the absence of the groom, the camera, the disheveled appearance of my girls and my unbuttoned fly, but pointed out to us the linen room at the end of the corridor, following us with stunned glances. We didn't care what they thought anymore. We stumbled into Linen's room and looked around. Instead of the long stolen portrait of Linen, only an empty square of unburned wallpaper and an empty pedestal looked at us, on which once stood a bust of the leader of Komsomol members and collective farmers. But there was an old, relatively clean, worn leather sofa, as well as the massive table, which was hard to pull out and therefore it has been preserved here. Nastia immediately checked the presence of dust with her finger, lay down on the sofa and lifted her crinoline skirts up, and I finally could see her while unbuttoning and lowering my jeans. Slender, beautiful legs, wrapped in white stockings and shod in elegant shoes. And then the silence was broken by the ringing of the phone. I froze. Hello. Well, come to your senses. It's been a long time. What do you mean? How long have we been walking? Collect the ransom, and you will have a whole wife and... She stumbled, unharmed. Okay, we'll be there in 10 minutes. Will you have enough time to collect the ransom? Okay, in 15 minutes, but only in large bills. That's it, come on. Why did you stop? It's all ready for me. Yes, I am. That's it. Let's run. We're already late. Fatima fussed and pulled Nastia, who was barely moving her legs, to the exit. Here. She handed her lipstick on the way. Put on the whistle. I quickly taxied out and drove around another car, rocking steadily, with women's legs sticking out of the windows, and took the girls back to the restaurant. We were already met by a tipsy company and, amid cheers, the groom shoved the ransom to Fatima, exchanging it for his bride, picked her up and carried her to the guests. Nastia looked at me over her faithful shoulder and made a barely noticeable movement with her fingers, like she waved. Someone helped Fatima get out, and someone with a witness bandage over his shoulder leaned over to me and, breathing vodka fumes, asked, "How much do they owe you?" "Come on," I began. "Here, take it. Don't deny yourself anything." He put a 500 ruble bill on the torpedo. "Good luck to you," and slammed the door. Just parking near the house, still in a stunned state, remembering how beautiful bride Nastia was sitting here, next to me, and not believing myself, I caught the scent of her perfume in the salon and suddenly noticed that there was something on the napkin that I already wanted to throw away. I looked closer and saw a phone written in red lipstick and the inscription, "Help me," grinning at the twists of fate and hiding 500 rubles from the benefactor in my wallet. I was about to leave, but out of habit, looking around the salon, I stopped my gaze at the back seat. There was an overturned ransom basket. Coins and bills of various denominations scattered on the leather upholstery,